That's what that sounds like to me, folks.
Did they say the quiet part out loud?
They may have said the quiet part out loud. So Tanya ended up finding this, and for those that don't know, I don't know if we've actually said this before, but there are some interesting links between the longest ballot committee and the Marxist-Leninist Party of Canada party, aka communism. There's been some collaboration between the two before in terms of what sometimes what the longest ballot will put out. They will take that as almost like a press release and post it on the Marxist-Leninist Party website. The Marxist-Leninist Party participated in the longest ballot on a couple of occasions. Other than that, there's nothing that we've been able to find surface level that links these two together. But it's very interesting that there's been a lot of collaboration in the past between them. Now, Tanya ended up finding a recent post on the Facebook page of the Marxist-Leninist Party. And this is what it said. So, this says, frenzy surrounding record-setting longest ballot. Since the by-election in the Alberta riding of Ballot River-Crowfoot was announced, demagoguery and legal threats against the longest ballot project have escalated. The longest ballot project has achieved great success in the riding, in which 214 candidates have registered in the by-election, with the longest ballot doubling the number which had been registered in the previous by-election and April federal election. In that election, the leader of the Conservative Party, Pierre Poilievre, was defeated in his own Ottawa area riding of Carleton, triggering the need to hold a by-election in what the Conservative consider a quote-unquote safe riding. The aim is so that Pierre Poilievre can win, quote-unquote win, a seat in the House of Commons and lead the official opposition. This process normally goes smoothly, with the other parties with seats in the House of Commons graciously putting up candidates who do not seriously contest the riding. There's a lot of quote-unquotes in here, as you can tell. In this by-election, however, both the leader of the Conservative Party, along with others appearing to be extremist elements aligned with media outlets, as well as the head of Elections Canada himself, are all engaged in raising a big racket about the longest ballot. Pierre Poilievre himself has floated the possibility of introducing a bill in Parliament that would increase the signatory threshold to nominate candidates. His current proposal would be to change the threshold of 100 signatures to a new threshold of 0.5% of electors in a district. This would be anywhere from 250 to 600 signatures to get on the ballot, depending on the riding. The new escalation in the 24 hours prior to the close of nominations went beyond simple demagoguery. A buzz was created on various large Conservative-aligned social media channels that a smoking gun report on the longest ballot committee would be released on July 25th. Much hype was generated when it was stated that this report would have legal ramifications for the leadership of the longest ballot committee. Now, we can thank a lot of that hype coming from Mario for the North. Thank you, Mario, for putting that out. The report was subsequently released by Northern Perspective, a news organization said to cater to the far right. Okay, let's just pause there.
Oh, goodness. I love it. When it suits... When it suits the narrative, we're far right. And when it suits the narrative, we're liberals. So what's that tell you? I'd say that we're fairly balanced. We are right-leaning, definitely not far-right, definitely not liberal-leaning. But I just find it hilarious that depending on who's criticizing us and for what, we're either far-left or far-right.
We're either conservative shills or we're liberal shills. Now I know what Jordan Peterson means when he says, when you're getting called out from both sides, you're probably right over the target. Like, if everybody's insulting you, okay.
What the hell is going on?
Like,
love it.
Anyway, so that was great. So we cater to the far right. Hear that, NP Nation? You're all far right, apparently, and we're catering to you. Anyway, let's continue. Okay. I lost where I was.
After the far right, at the bottom paragraph. Second line.
In the 45-minute long YouTube video titled Whistleblower Evidence Rocks Longest Ballot, Serious Legal Concerns Raised, groundless accusations are made, presenting what is made to look like evidence but is nothing more than a fabricated case to imply the longest ballot committee is shady, up to illegal practices, and the like. In fact, the longest ballot committee has conducted itself impeccably when it comes to respecting the requirements of the Canada Elections Act and protecting the privacy of potential candidates whose signatures are being gathered, but they are not to register the candidates. Say that again. I want to read that one more time.
In fact, the longest ballot committee has conducted itself impeccably when it comes to respecting the requirements of the of the Canada Elections Act and protecting the privacy of potential candidates whose signatures are being gathered, but they are yet to register their candidacy, which sounds like blank candidate forms to me.
That's what that sounds like to me, folks.
Did they say the quiet part out loud?
They may have said the quiet part out loud. So if I'm to interpret that, I interpret that as, well, we're gathering signatures for candidates, but we're protecting their privacy.
You can't do that.
So as to not show people.
You can't do that. I mean, the Conservative Party doesn't go around collecting signatures and then go, oh, well, you know, we haven't had our nomination race yet, so we don't actually know who these signatures are for, but please sign here. No, you cannot do that. We demonstrated that in the video.
So they may have literally just said the quiet part out loud. Now, the problem is this wasn't posted on the longest ballot. I haven't seen it on any of the longest ballot material. But this may be posted, or this was posted on the Marxist-Leninist Party site. So if this is actually a post from the longest ballot somewhere, which I haven't been able to find, that's probably not a good thing to say, folks. Anyway, here's the last part of that. The main gist of the video and report is that the longest ballot committee improperly collected signatures in the Toronto St. Paul's and LaSalle and Marver-Dunn by-elections by not listing the nominated candidates' names on the forms. They back up this allegation by featuring an anonymous somebody who is nonetheless known to be a supporter of Poilievre, saying he is in the know because he was a former candidate for the longest ballot. They show a series of emails and text messages that they argue demonstrate that the longest ballot committee was collecting signatures on blank forms and then writing in candidate names after the fact. This claim is not true, but they say it amounts to forgery and possible electoral fraud. They make a series of other brazenly false allegations, including that the longest ballot is a voter intimidation scheme to make Poilievre lose. Actually, we didn't say that at all. We never said that.
We've never said that it favors or disfavors one particular candidate. Also, it wasn't the conversations with our whistleblower that were the smoking gun in this case, although they did definitely help bolster the evidence. The evidence was that photo of Tomas and his brother and the third guy all holding up forms that had signatures but no candidate names. That was the evidence.
When you're literally holding a picture, right? Each of you holding two forms, two stacks of them, and there's no candidate name there, and you're sitting there smiling as all can be.
And in this exact same rebuttal, what would you call this message on Facebook, they're saying that, well, we don't have candidate names on it essentially because
we're protecting the privacy of people who haven't registered yet.
Right. You cannot do that. You cannot collect signatures without a candidate listed. We've demonstrated that.
So anyway, let's finish it up. Most of this merely underscores how pathetic Poilievre's claim to represent the constituents of the riding must be. Clearly, the cartel parties and their lackeys and the champions of Canada's underrepresentative system of democracy with its first-past-the-post method of counting ballots are increasingly frustrated by the ever-growing success of the longest ballot to get Canadians to join the initiative which calls for changes to the electoral law. This has now escalated to the point of the most brazen threats and intimidation. The longest ballot committee is undaunted in the face of the aspirations cast against it and continues in the heroic fight against the anachronistic electoral regime and the cartel parties who profit from it. So, no, people are not jumping up and down and saying, "Oh my goodness, we need to settle this. We need to change first past the post." No, people are not jumping up and down about that.
Well, and if Canadians were, the proper method of getting something done about it is to go to your MP, is to speak to your senator, is to get a petition going, not this joke, which is the longest ballot committee. I mean, you saw the internal communications that were like, everybody thinks it's hilarious that we're doing this. No.
Right. So, if you want to protest, grab a sign, do the hard work, and stand in front of Liberal constituency offices across the country. That would be a protest.
Write your MP. Get your friends to write their MPs. Start a petition. Have an appointment with your MP and tell them, listen, I'm really concerned about this. I want to do something about it. Try to get a private member's bill going. That's how you fix things.
Because all you're doing is getting everyone mad at you. And the prime example, and I've used this before, is the protest, Just Stop Oil. These are the hooligans that walk into art galleries and throw paint and soup on works of art. Now,
and then they glue themselves to the floor.
Yeah, and then they glue themselves to the floor. They sit on highways. They're inconveniencing people who have nothing to do with stopping oil. Never mind the fact that everything they're wearing is usually made from some sort of petroleum product. So this is something that Tanya actually came across, and I don't know, made us smile. Never mind the fact that, yeah, they probably said the quiet part out loud there.
Well, and like I found the most telling was that they'd never referenced the actual photographic evidence.
Yep, they didn't talk about it at all. Didn't even reference it. They said we had text messages, said we had emails, didn't want to talk about the YouTube video. When Thomas holds up the forms and says, "We already have your signatures."
Hello, Tomas Shukevich here, official agent for the longest ballot committee. We need everyone to sign up as soon as possible. We have already collected 100 nomination signatures for you.
Okay, not sure how that's possible, but okay. And also the fact that they're holding up these forms in that photograph.
Well, it's up to Elections Canada now.
Sure is. Sure is. Anyway, so hopefully this leads to something. I'm hopeful this is going to lead to some parliamentary investigations in the fall. I'm hopeful they call people from the longest ballot to committee. That would be something to see.
Because remember, when you are called to committee, you don't get to say no unless you're a minister.
Right. And if we're called to committee, we'll go. And then we can cover ourselves on committee. Won't that be fun? Point of order.
Could you imagine, like, point of ordering the Liberals and they'll be like, "You quiet, you're a witness."
Yeah, you can't call a point of order. I know, I just wanted to say it. I'm a political cowboy.